So I am here with Miss Bullock. She is a nurse at my mom's elementary school. I just had a couple questions for you regarding your career in health.
Okay.
So where did you go to undergrad in nursing school?
I went to Austin Community College, and that's where I got my licensed vocational nursing.
Cool, awesome. And then what made you decide to be an elementary school nurse? Like, did you always know you wanted to do something in health, or?
I did always knew I wanted something in health, and so actually once I graduated, I worked in the hospital. And I liked that, but the shifts were really long, and I had little kids at the time. So when I had a friend who was a school nurse, and she was like, "Oh, they're hiring. This would be perfect for you." And so when my boys were younger, I figured, oh, it is perfect. So we're on the kind of the same schedule. So then once I started doing it, I knew I loved it, and so I've been here for 17 years.
Oh my gosh, and not at Patsy Summer, or just
No, this is my second school.
Okay.
I was at one school for 9 years,
Okay.
and so I've been here. This is my 8th year.
Awesome.
So yeah.
And then, do you mind explaining what the difference is between a licensed vocational nurse?
RN? There's not very much difference, but there are a few things. Mainly, probably in the hospital, you're going to kind of see it more. It has to do with as far as like central lines and being able to administer IV medications and things like that. But as far as school nursing, there's no difference.
And then how did your undergraduate degree help in nursing? As far as biology classes and
those are very, very, very important. Knowing, how the body works and things like that, and as far as like atoms and how and germs and things like that. So kind of learning that biological side of it definitely, helped get a good background to be able to build on that as far as your medical goes.
What do you think is the most rewarding part about nursing?
Helping kids. When you see kids when they come in and they're crying because they're either not feeling well, or maybe they have fallen and they're injured. Being able to put a smile on their face when they're scared.
I feel like that's even more worthwhile, here in an elementary school. I feel like you have a lot of rewarding experiences.
Yes, I did middle school and high school, for 1 year, and then I knew that elementary school was
because I feel like elementary school nurses do way more than, because you have to do the checkups and all the stuff elementary school.
And we have a lot of kids
who come in.
Not feeling well, so you have to do assessment and stuff like that. So elementary definitely is more rewarding to me.
Yes, and kids are cute because I want to go to pediatrics. I'm like, I want to work with kids. I don't want to work with the old people.
No. Kids are definitely where it is.
After undergrad, what license or certification did you have to get, and how did you prepare for it? So.
After taking the boards and passing the boards, I worked in dermatology for a little bit, so I had to get my certification as a dermatology nurse and things like that. Now, there are some nurses who have gotten their certification in school nursing, but I haven't done that. But, as far as of course, you have to have your CPR and things like that, so those keep those up to date.
Okay. What kind of experience were you required to have before becoming a school nurse?
I had to work in pediatrics, so I worked in the hospital. But in the hospital, I worked with adults. But then I did, when I was worked for the dermatologist, we did see kids too, but still mostly adults. So most of my background has been adult, but having kids is very helpful too, because you kind of understand what their needs are and things like that. Exactly. So most of it is too, because you never know what you're gonna have here, so it's basically first aid, that kind of stuff, and then you just kind of learn as you go.
So when you got your undergraduate degree, did you have to get your nursing certificate, did you have to go into hospital hours? Because I know that for
No. There was you didn't have to go to any specific. It's just that usually in the hospital, that's where you want to get the most experience. Most experience, and they're always hiring and looking for people. So you get a lot of different things, and then at that point, then you kind of narrow it down and kind of figure out what you want to do.
I saw this thing that said nursing. Nurses are one of the most renowned jobs right now because they're super low.
And you can go anywhere. I mean, you move anywhere and get a job as a nurse.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons my mom wanted to become a teacher, because she's like, I can get a job anywhere. There's never a shortage.
And when I was trying to figure out, if we're going to be a nurse or a teacher, it's kind of down to those two, and it's I'll pick nursing. So, and I'm glad I did that.
Yeah, that's awesome. What would you consider the most important skill or attribute for someone who wants to work in healthcare?
You have to be very diligent to detail.
Yeah.
And then you have to have good communication skills too, because you're dealing with people, and so you have to kind of figure out what's going on and what the best way is to communicate to that person or get them what they need.
Yeah.
Because you're whether you're talking about kids or you're talking about adults or geriatric patients, whatever it is, they're all different.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of know how to get to them and get them to trust you also.
Yeah, and I feel like oftentimes it's like kind of like, because they call it just like all like, it's like science. It's kind of like,
Yes.
But like I think that sometimes we often overlook like how important the communication part is and the interpersonal skills.
Because you can be, think about it, you probably not you, but you go to a doctor and they know their stuff, but if they're not
friendly and stuff, you don't want to,
exactly. So you
yeah.
have to know how to communicate with people and get them, it's all about trust, getting them to trust you.
And I know like nowadays, a lot of med schools are requiring people to have a humanities background, so like psychology, sociology, like stuff like that, just so they have that kind of like interpersonal communication, because it's so important.
Exactly, it's very important.
Yeah. What advice would you give to people who are doubting whether they should continue pursuing a healthcare profession?
I would tell them that you really have to know that's what you want to do in order to go into the field. And then once you make that decision, just kind of go all in. I mean, it will be very rewarding, but it is going to take a lot of sacrifice, time, and things like that. And, you may start off with something very difficult, but it'll be worth it. You just have to kind of make sure that you want to do it and get into that field, because it can be challenging.
That's what everyone's always said. They're like, do you want to do this? And I was like, are you sure you want to do this? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Like,
and once
do.
you're sure, then it's going to be the best thing ever, but just make sure you're sure.
Have you always had an interest in like science growing up and stuff, or was it kind of like?
No, I have, because at first, I thought about maybe going to pharmacy school, being a pharmacologist or something like that. But I knew that I've always kind of wanted to be in the medical field and work with people. So.
What challenges do you face on a day-to-day basis?
One of the big ones is, being at a school where there's a lot of kids. Because sometimes the volume can be a lot. So you just have to, especially like during cold and flu season, we have a lot of kids that are sick. And so you have to learn how to triage and which ones you need to see right now, which ones can kind of wait, especially, when you have a high volume of students going in and out. So just making sure that you know how to prioritize what's first, what's second, what's
And then I wonder, is it like more difficult here, do you think? Because like, I know like kids in elementary school are like, I'm sick, and like telling like who's actually sick and who's kind of just coming in here.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that's good about being at a school for a long period of time, because you get to know students, you get to know the families, and you kind of know which parents are like, you know what, if they don't have a fever, let them rest and they can go back. And the other ones where it's like, they kind of want to know everything that's going on in school. So you kind of learn how to do that, because you can't call every single parent, because you'd be on the phone all day. Yeah, exactly. So you have to kind of know which ones that which kids are kind of the ones where, you kind of fix them up and get them on back to class, and other ones where you really need to have that contact with the parent and let them know what's going on.
Do you like being able to have that close communication with the students and their parents?
Yeah, I definitely do. Yeah, that is definitely rewarding, with the parents, especially if the kid comes in and you really feel like there's, something going on, and you call the parent, and the parent takes it to the doctor and is like, oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
for letting me know. The doctor said, this is going on, or that was going on. They really need to be seen and stuff like that. So it's rewarding when they come back later and saying thank you for that kind of thing.
And then how important do you think a career in healthcare is? So like especially in this day and age, like I was saying, sort of about like nurses or even like doctors, school nurses, like the importance of careers and paths like that.
Well, definitely it's important, because not everyone can do it.
Yes.
And so, a lot of times, parents will come in and say, hey, what do you think about this? And maybe it's a rash, maybe it's them, and it's not even the kid. But I think it's important, because your community really needs someone they can go to that they trust, and you can kind of direct them here or there, or like, that I think that's okay, you can kind of wait on it, or no, that really needs to go. So I think it's just really important, because not a lot of people really understand it. So giving them the direction in order to make sure that they get whatever they need attended to in a prompt manner.
And then do you think, like, your career now has helped you outside of, like, your career itself, like, in daily life, your relationships with others, family?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I've met a lot of good friends here in the medical field. It also has kind of helped me, you know, with my own family. You know, I have 2 boys, so it's like, okay, you're fine, you can go on. Or, you know, or even like with my husband and stuff like that. You know, I'm not feeling well. Oh, well, you should probably go to see the doctor. Or not, you're fine, just take some Tylenol, you're good.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So definitely you put, you know, what you do on a day-to-day basis, you take it home with you and you have to apply it there sometimes too.
And then if you had like one piece of advice to give to people who were, you know, trying to make that jump into a healthcare profession, whether it be in nursing and to become a doctor and research, what do you think it would be? Sorry, that's like a kind of a hard question.
I know. Well, besides making sure that that's what you want to do, I would say just be sure that you are diligent, you know, because there's a lot of times where you see kids and, you know, you think that, you know, parents like, oh, they're fine, and you're like, I don't think so. I mean, if you have that nagging suspicion, you just make sure you go with your gut. With your gut. If you really think that there's something, because, like, you know, there'll be kids that come in, oh, you know, this hurts, and the parents like, oh, they're fine. You're like, I really think you probably should take it, get an x-ray. Oh, I think they're fine. It's like, no, I really think you should. You just have to make sure that you stick to your guns, and if you really feel like it's something that's important that needs to be seen, you just kind of, you know, you don't let them just kind of brush it off. You just kind of make sure that you're, because you're the advocate basically for the patient, which is the student here, but in the hospital, you're advocate for that patient, and you just have to make sure that you stick up for them, because a lot of times they're not able to do it themselves.
Especially in an ill state and stuff.
Exactly, because you see them at their, I don't want to say their worst, but when at their a weak moment.
A weak
and
point.
So you just have to really make sure that you are the advocate for the patient, whether it be with the doctor or a parent or, you know, whatever. Just make sure that you are focused and you're there for them.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Those are all the questions I have. Thank you so much.
Those are some good questions.
Thank you.